So the New York Knicks are finally NBA champions again. It was a long journey, 50 plus years. 50 plus years, people. But the New York Knicks survived. They still managed to survive and become NBA champions. Shout out to them. They did it. Man, it's crazy. The joke was always the New York Knicks will never win another NBA championship. They'll never win again. That was like a going joke my entire life. Just being a sports follower, following sports, that was always the joke. The New York Knicks will never win a championship. And for the most part, it looked like it would never happen. But they assembled the perfect team, the perfect big men, the perfect wing players, the perfect point guard, the perfect coach. Everything came together smooth, transactional. The New York Knicks, they stormed through the playoffs, man. They stormed through. They had two hiccup games versus Atlanta that they could have easily won, but they gave them 4-2. You know what I mean? They beat Cleveland with ease. They beat everybody with ease. You know? They beat Philly with ease, 4-0. Even took over the New York Knicks fans even took over the Philadelphia 76ers arena. That's how bad it got versus Philadelphia. They beat them 4-0. Then they beat Cleveland 4-0. They beat the Cleveland Cavaliers 4-0 too. And then they got to the finals and won 4-1, people. 4-1. San Antonio only got one game. They only won one game. Think about how crazy that is. The New York Knicks. I can't believe it. And you know what's crazy? They can make it to the NBA championship again next year. I firmly believe this New York Knicks team, granted some type of mega trade or something astronomical happening in the East, the New York Knicks should be back in the NBA Finals next year. That's the crazy thing about it. They should be back in the NBA Finals next year, people. Think about that. They should be back in the NBA Finals next year. And it's crazy because, what was everybody saying? Whoever comes out of the West between OKC and San Antonio gonna win the NBA championship. Nobody in the East can compete. Whole time though, I was sitting back saying New York is the worst matchup for San Antonio. Just from a personnel perspective, that's the worst matchup that San Antonio could have asked for. And sure enough, it proved right. They lost 4-1. They matched up. New York Knicks matched up with the San Antonio Spurs. Every position, literally, every position, they were more seasoned and more experienced at that position than the San Antonio Spurs, from point guard to center. Everybody on New York was more seasoned, more experienced than everybody in San Antonio starting rotation if we go on position by position. And it paid off. Even coaching, it was a mismatch. Everything, listen, it all came full circle for the Knicks, and they deserved it. It's no asterisk. It's no, but if this would have happened, that would have happened. None of that with this team. They ran through the East, and then they ran through the West. It's just as simple as that. And I fully expect them to be back next year. They definitely will be in the Eastern Conference Finals next year. And I firmly believe that they will be in the NBA championship again next year. Now, as far as the West, who knows? But it's nobody in the East currently that can go up against this Knicks team unless Indiana comes back fully healthy. Then that might be a problem. But even then, with this championship experience, I don't see Indiana giving them too much of an issue either. The New York Knicks, people. 2025, 2026, NBA champions. And they did it with ease. Jalen Brunson is the man. A 6'1", 6'2" point guard, 6'2", 6'1", 6-foot point guard, was a wrecking crew, was a wrecking ball. The whole playoffs. And then the NBA Finals, they just couldn't do nothing with them. All that wing depth, all that height, that young age, they couldn't do nothing with Jalen Brunson. He was just a man. New York Knicks.